What do you need the groups for? What are those?
Yeah. Let me show you groups. Here you, oops. As always, that's the documentation, the guide for validation. So if you search Quarkus validation, you land here. And you see all the details, like which extension you need to add. And then here you see some examples. You can also adapt these messages to make them more specific.
Okay.
That's something we didn't do yet.
But this is possible for everything, so that you can just say, okay,
Yeah.
the message,
Because if you
ignore
remember,
the message you had before, you had predefined, use this one.
Yeah.
Nice.
They always have to have this message thing here, and it's just the default value. You can change it.
Nice.
You can just say like message.
So you could
ID.
also use another key. They have to confuse others, as an April Fool's joke, for example.
Sorry?
You can just use another key.
Yeah. Yeah, you can use another key, or you can be creative with your messages.
Nice, very cool.
To right here. I mean, for example, you could say, hey, the title needs to be something reasonable or so. Yeah. So you can really make good error messages for all of your things. And
so you could have a profanity check, right? So that you can't put in certain words.
You can put in
as a title, for example. Yeah, nice, very cool.
Yeah. So,
okay.
And you can localize it. So you could use this to. I don't know if you really want to do this, but you could show it in your client localized for your client. You could have the localization in the backend, which you could update all the time.
Nice. Okay, let's get back to the groups.
So. Yeah, back to the groups. We always get distracted.
I know.
So groups.
Groups. Okay.
What they show here is an example. We have a book, and it has an ID.
Can you increase the font a little bit?
Yeah. Sorry.
I think you zoomed in way too far. Okay.
So we have a book, like we have an ID. Now, if you post a new book, you want to create a new book, you don't have an ID yet. But if you update a book, you might want the user to provide the ID.
Interesting. Okay.
So what I usually do is make different DTOs. Yeah, because this is Java code, remember. So it can always be null. But if we want to have a nice Kotlin data class or so, then I don't want to have a nullable ID field. And as we saw, you would need to make it nullable, so the parsing works, and then the validation can even start. Because it first needs to be parsed into the DTO, and then it's validated.
Okay.
But keep this in mind, there might be other better use cases. So you can say, if we have this validation group post, then this must be null. And if we have the validation group put, then it must not be null. And you can also just have normal ones without a group. This is the default one. That will then always work.
So it's just like message you can add different things, and that's also why the group isn't defined in what type it is, right? Because you can basically put in.
You have to define these groups first.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I skipped. But these groups are just interfaces. They are just marker interfaces. Basically, you just put a name to it. And what we do here, we extend the default group. This means this will be included. If you make your
wait. Scroll up a little bit because I was right in front of it.
Oh.
What will be included?
Sorry.
Which one is it? This one? Yes. So okay.
Okay. Let's show both.
Yeah.
For a second. This here has no group, so it's in the default group by default.
Okay. You say so.
Yeah. If you think about it really hard, it kind of makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
So we have to say our group here, it extends the default group.
Okay.
We could also say put extends post, then it would also apply those validations, but then we have validations that don't work together.
Okay.
But what we say is we have this post group. So everything that has this post group will work, and everything that has the default group will be applied.
Okay.
If we apply the post group validations. So what we can now do here, we have our endpoint, like we also have it. We have to say it's at valid. And you can add this additional annotation here, the convert group annotation, and you can specify, in this case, please use the post group, which if we remember, it's the post group. It includes the default. So we will have this one and this one working. And in the put case, it's just named put. That's just a name. Then it will apply this one and this one.
Okay.
If you don't add the default here, then it would only apply this one. And this one would just be left out. Sorry. Yeah, you had
this one. Okay, let me think about this. This one would be. Okay.
So
okay. So you filter out. So if you wouldn't extend it by default, then just post would be single thing, and then put. Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
So
okay.
If we just make this here, just for showing it. Okay. Maybe the docs is with the naming outdated, or that's why it didn't work for me. No, the validation groups is the class they created, sorry. What is really standing here is also there's the default group somewhere in the present checked.
Are you sure? I think it's just default.
Yeah, I just have to find the right package because there's a lot of default stuff. No, it's not Kotlin, it's Java. So that is what's actually written here.
Okay.
So if you define this post group here, just like this, Java, then it only triggers this one here because this does not include default. But if we say it includes default, Java extends, then it also triggers this one.
Okay. Oh, nice.
So that's what you can do with groups. Yeah, I would say that's it.
Very cool. Thank you for showing us.
You're welcome.